Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, Blais, AJ coming at you live as the Avs defeat the Red Wings 5-2 in Detroit. A game that never really felt that dangerous if you're Colorado. You felt pretty confident all the way through this one. From the jump, the Avs came out hot and scored a goal, 75 seconds in or something like that. It was pretty quick that they got out to the lead, and they never relinquished it. So there were some close moments. Detroit made it 2-1 at one point, but nothing really that dangerous. It felt pretty straightforward for Colorado. So,
the Avs win 5-2, and we're talking face-offs again.
Digging deep on
baby, Dr. Dubs.
Is this podcast like the frequent flyer to the hospital? Like, we go to the hospital and we're like, doctor, I've got a light. My elbow is sore.
Bro, we straight up have that. We have that dude on retainer, and we gave him his own personal cell phone so that the only one who ever calls it is us, and he has it on his person at all times. We're good. That's it. No more Atlantic Division the rest of the season.
Done with it. Get out of here. Yeah. Look, I think tonight was a pretty darn good response to anyone that was worried about the Boston game. This one puts it in the rearview mirror real quick. So good on them.
That's what good teams do, right? Like they bounce back. I mean, granted, they didn't play well in Buffalo either. So obviously it's those 11 o'clock start games. They can't hang. Anything past 11 is all right, though, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be too many 11 o'clock starts in the playoffs, so they'll be all right.
Speaking of not having to worry about somebody in the playoffs, Detroit, 8 straight losses to the Avs now. Somehow there are 3 other teams that are sitting in a similar boat as, I believe, LA, Anaheim, and Buffalo have lost 7 straight.
Wow.
To Colorado. Imagine having 4 winning streaks of at least 7 games against other teams, like active streaks. It really goes to show you how badly the Avs beat up on those teams
last year in that weird division. Yeah. They just took L's left and right for sure.
The Detroit way, as we call it.
Yeah, Detroit now back to actually 500, so you have the Avs to thank for that. All right. Who wants to do the 60-second rundown of this hockey game? Should I do it this time?
It's all you, dog.
Me? All right.
1, 2, 3, go.
So, first of all, Avs converted the 2 for a brew promotion. So, be sure to get your Breck Brew. Get that shit paid for. Go over to breckbrew.com. Use the 2 for a brew promotion. And honestly, I really had very few problems with the Avs' entire lineup tonight. I thought they played pretty solid all the way through the game as a whole. Now, the second period, they slept skated through it. They didn't try very much. But again, the Avs turned it up when they needed to. It was never close. You got scoring from the top line. You got scoring from the third line. You got scoring from the second line. You got everything you needed from the forwards tonight. Defense was good enough by a good margin. It wasn't great. You're not walking away from this going, wow, the Avs defense was the best, but it was good enough. And Pavel Francouz made the saves he needed to at the end of the game, especially. Got the job done. You can sum this game up as the Avs got the job done. Took care of a team that they should beat. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right.
A little bit longer than mine. Mine was 5 seconds.
Yeah,
6 seconds.
I use the full 60 seconds when they give it to me. All right? Use the whole thing.
You're the basketball coach that's losing and takes all your timeouts anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't take them with me.
That's like a super villain origin story. What was that laugh?
One of my basketball pet peeves.
So let's start with the first 2 goals in the first period. Avs obviously come out hot, keep getting pucks to the net. Landy, the one who ends up getting it, but it was a weird shift in the first place because the Avs do put Darren Helm out there with the top line, his first time back in Detroit. Some puck luck there with Cale Makar cutting to the net, or is that all skill?
I mean, both.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's both a skill play. I mean, that's a great play by Makar.
Yep.
And then obviously anytime one of your guys gets to a puck like that, I mean, look at Detroit's second goal. We were like, wow, that must be nice.
Yep.
You know, that's like 2 of Colorado's goals. Both come off of plays in which they were deflected by a Red Wings player, and an Avs player just bangs it home.
Sure.
So I think that was just how goals got scored tonight. As guys went to the net and they found pucks and put them home, and that was really where the scoring took place for both teams. Wasn't a whole lot of like just beat that goalie.
Yeah, very true. All of the Avs goals, I guess the Nichushkin goal really was, there was some skill involved there, but the first 3 were all off of rebounds.
Yeah, I mean there's a whole lot of skill involved in that third goal all the way around.
Yeah, we'll get to that, I'm sure. But yeah, the Avs get started off on the right foot and they dominate the first period, particularly the first half of it. It just looked like Detroit was not on the same level as Colorado. You get to the second goal, it gets a little bit squirrely, right? But that third line of O'Connor, Jost, and Newhook really was humming all night long. So
yeah,
definitely some positives to look at there. It is a bit interesting, as Comfer was the guy that kind of got moved up in the lineup tonight. He was on PP1, things like that. Do you put yourself in a weird conversation here where you're like, it's going to be hard to break up that third line after a game like that?
No.
Okay. That's straightforward.
I think no, just because you're talking about bringing. I mean, if MacKinnon comes back into the lineup, you know, he draws back in. And,
obviously, you put MacKinnon in the top 6. Like,
and like I don't know that you really have to do a whole lot of adjust. I mean, if you really wanted to, sure, you could leave him there, but you know what you're not getting out of a guy like a JT Compher. So,
yeah, that goal was driven by Newhook too. What a smart decision down there by the goal line. I mean, Compher had a chance to knock that in, just skates got in the way.
I would also like to point out that Alex Newhook gets a little bit of skill going with him tonight.
Yep.
And he has 2 assists.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's going to be a point per game player if he were to be elevated into a lineup, but all of this speaks to why the Avalanche should be increasingly confident that when Nazem Kadri makes a $1 jillion in free agency, they're gonna be okay at 2C.
Well, you look at the first goal. It's a great breakout by Newhook to get him going the right direction in the first place.
Yep.
Then he gets involved in the play in the offensive zone, creates a great A opportunity that doesn't get finished initially, but again, as you said, AJ, the way the game was going tonight, you get the puck to the front of the net, you crash it, and good things are happening. So,
he almost has that wraparound.
Yep.
Like, could have you're talking about you're 3 inches from him having a 3-point night.
Yeah. So,
if you guys want to call the deer Sir Montague, I'm good with that. We'll put a little nameplate under there. Sir Montague for you guys.
Okay. Definitely figured this was where the pod was going tonight. Naming AJ's deer.
I guess. I mean, I didn't even know that was a conversation. But look, when the Avs win 8 out of every 10 games, like that's kind of what's up, right?
True enough. It's
people don't really have too much to talk about with the Avs right now. It's the same 3 things.
Yeah, par for the course as it has been.
Byram related. How much is Nathan MacKinnon's next contract going to be? And anything related to the trade deadline.
Don't forget face-offs.
Yeah, I mean, face-offs is really it's like the niche thing that like 4 or 5 people talk about a lot.
Fair enough.
So,
what was the face-off? What was the percentage?
43-57.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to look at it too and what zone that's in as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Avs lost any critical face-offs, really. I guess you could say
Were there critical face-offs in this game?
not really. The
There
second
was a
goal
goal
kind of
that-
led to
yeah.
one, yeah. Second Detroit goal, that is. So, it just didn't matter in this hockey game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is what it is on that front. All right.
At 4-2, the Avs, Nazem Kadri lost face-offs in the Detroit offensive zone to Pius Suter, Dylan Larkin, and then Rantanen lost one to Larkin as well. And then the Avs won the defensive zone face-off and scored the empty net goal.
And that was that.
Yep.
So, yeah, is what it is. Not going to go too in-depth about it. The one thing possibly negative that I want to talk about here, at least in this period of the podcast, is the second period for the Colorado. We've watched them make a habit of, especially when they get a 2-goal lead, sometimes they're somewhere else for a good portion of the second period. Are we fine with that? Are we saying it's fine because they're getting away with it? Or do you want to see that get a little bit better, especially against weaker teams?
I mean, of course you'd love to see it get better. Of course you'd love to see it tighten up. I mean, the Avs, you go through the numbers tonight, and the Avs gave up 18 high danger chances in all situations to the Red Wings. They gave up 33 scoring chances to the Red Wings. They get outshot by the Red Wings. Now, some of these are score effects. The Avs had a 2-goal lead for them a long portion of this game. At least a 2-goal lead for a long portion of this game. So some of this is score effects that you kind of brush away, but some of this is also like, I guess it's the third goal that really kind of ends that game, right? Because like you have the 2-0, they make it 2-1, and then it's like the next game tells you, or the next goal tells you what kind of game this is going to be. Because if it's 3-1, you're probably like, okay, it's probably good. But if it's 2-2, then you're in a dogfight. And it got to 3-1, it got to 4-1, and then you're just kind of like, okay. So would you love for them to play a little bit better to the eye? Totally. But like they went 2-0 and then 4-1. Like it's really hard for me to feel too bad about how they played overall.
I don't. I need to come up with a term for this for hockey. In WoW, World of Warcraft, the game, they have two things. They have theory crafting, which is like analytical models and looking at it, and then they have feely craft, which is the way things feel. Even if they're not necessarily correct, the feely craft of this hockey game, it would have felt a lot better if the Avs got up 3-0 and then gave up a goal to make it 3-1, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the eye test versus fancy stats,
right?
Mostly,
I agree, but I want to come up with like a feely hockey word. Yeah.
What you're talking about is like an in-game thing where you're like, it doesn't feel great for it to be 2-1 halfway through the second, or with 5 minutes left, whatever it ended up being. Like, it doesn't feel great for it to be 2-1 in a game against a team that's not going to make the postseason. But also, like Detroit's not a bottom feeder anymore.
Yep,
like
they're a decent hockey team.
Like they're a 500 club. They're okay. If you're expecting the Avs should blow out Detroit caliber clubs, then you're also believing that they don't need, especially without Nathan MacKinnon, they don't need any help whatsoever at the deadline because they're the best team in the league by a long shot. Because you can't just expect them to blow out Detroit caliber teams willy-nilly.
Yep.
This was a pretty routine road win. 2-0, 4-1, you get out of there 5-2. You don't have Nathan MacKinnon. Like Detroit looked okay. They looked competitive. Was anybody really ever in true concern here that the Avs were going to blow this game at some point?
I don't think the Avs were either. I mean, if when you play hockey and stuff, there's the thing of being on the right side of the puck. And when you're feeling good, you take liberties of not going to the right side of the puck, which is between you, basically when Detroit has the puck, being between them, right, and your net, right. And there was a lot of times tonight where, if you watch along the boards, the Avs weren't going to the right side of the puck, excuse me, on that, and they were just trying to take liberties to try to get scoring chances. So obviously they felt pretty confident that they were going to win this game as well. I mean, especially when you go up 2-0 right away.
And the Avs have every right to feel that way. I don't think there's any doubt that they've earned a little bit of leeway when it comes to things like that, when you have the least regulation losses of any team in the NHL.
And when they go up 2-0 and then Altitude flashes whatever that was, that they were 29-0-3 when they scored or whatever it was. You're just like, this is fucking crazy, guys. Like, they finished these games. So, and I mean, and again, like, Nathan MacKinnon isn't in this lineup.
Yep.
You take out your best player, certainly your best forward. You take him out of the lineup and you score 5 goals.
Yep.
Like, there's been a lot of talk about, the depth needed to do this or that. Well, Landeskog scores the first goal. Tyson Joe scores your second goal. Kadri gets your third, then Nichushkin. Like, you got it out of your first, second, and third lines. Yep. With heavy chip in from the defense, because Makar has a point, has an assist tonight, and Devon Taves has 2. So they just keep doing their thing too. I mean, this was just
easy. It's easy life right now.
This is just what's up.
All right. So there's not a whole lot of things better than free beer. Again, 2 for a brew hit tonight.
Tonight was a 2 for a brew night.
If you get a Breck brew or an Avalanche, like my favorite, you can go on to breckbrew.com. Make sure you get your receipt, keep your receipt. When the Avs score 2 goals in the first period of a game, Breck brew will pay for your first beer on them. So go jump on it. Doesn't matter where you buy it from. You can get your first beer from the arena. You can go to your, local liquor store, pick up some Breck brew there. They will buy the first beer on them. So hit up Breck brew for literally free beer. And not going to be for a little bit here, but the one thing that might be better than free beer is free Avs tickets, which Breck Brew is also going to be giving away. Keep an eye out on our Twitter. We're going to be running a little giveaway there. Have your Avs gear ready to show off. It'll be multifaceted.
Okay.
We'll be talking about it on the show, but you're going to have to send us some pictures of yourself in dope Avs gear to win the tickets. So that'll have to be through Twitter. Either way, Breck Brew is dope. They're giving out all sorts of dope stuff. Be sure to check them out because their beer is actually really good too, which, is good for a beer company. You can get them down at the bar alongside Cold Brew Strava Craft Coffee. You get 25% off of them when you use code DNVR at checkout online. Their CBD infused coffee is great for migraines, aches and pains, joint pain, IBS, all that type of stuff. And it'll get you going up in the morning just like normal coffee would. So get on it today. They have K-Cups or the normal coffee beans, however you prefer to have it. And you can get, I already said 25% off your first order, but it's also like 20% off for life if you sign up for their membership service. So be sure to jump on that and get the good deals through Strava. And with that money you're saving, maybe, sign up for a DNVR annual membership. AJ already mentioned it, but we got a couple of prospect pieces coming out tomorrow, so you're going to want to check those out and see where
prospect day tomorrow.
It is even
on accident. Yeah, it's prospect.
It just
day
worked
tomorrow.
Out that way. Even
we've got prospect portfolio where Rudo runs down and gives you highlights of the prospects in the system. Megan's got a featured piece on used Desanen that'll be running tomorrow, and then tomorrow's pod is the mid-season top 10 Avs prospect check-in from us.
Yep. So prospect day tomorrow for sure. If you haven't read AJ's Bednar piece yet, go read that. That's excellent stuff.
Should do that.
Go check that thing out. Sign up for the membership. Get a free DNVR shirt. Also, we have lots of good shirts. I know a lot of people were talking about the Kemper tonight, even though he didn't play. Maybe someday soon we'll have a Kadri shirt. We're working on it. We're seeing where it's going. Blais doesn't want any pressure on him for that. We'll see where it goes. I know people want a Kadri shirt, so we're looking into it.
Yeah.
Okay, second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Honestly, I think you put it very well, Blais. Like, you explained the first goal of the game the Avs gave up to Detroit halfway through the second period. A lot of abs on the wrong side of the puck when you give up a 3-on-1 the other way. It's one of those messy situations where an errant shot rims around the boards, and then Makar kind of makes a questionable pinch, and it doesn't work out. But if we're talking hockey feels, giving up a 3-on-1 never feels good. So,
I mean, the other team's usually going to score on that, right? Like 3-on-1, like, come on, like, there's just too many options, right? So it happens.
I mean, the only real critique that you would have there is that maybe you'd like to see Girard be a little more decisive, and if he's going to take away the shot, take away the shot.
Yeah, because
instead he kind of just takes him away from the equation, because he takes away the pass, but with the pass off the pads that ended up happening, it didn't matter, and he was just then no longer part of the play.
Like, to be honest, there's another team out there. Credit to Mo Sider. That is a ridiculously good pad pass that he made.
Yeah.
He sets him up perfectly for that goal. But
yeah, well, and then Frankie instinctively is moving back to the middle of the net.
Yep.
Because he's on one side and he doesn't know where that rebound is going, and then that takes him out of that position. I mean, it's a good goal. It's like when a tennis player, moves the other guy around and then he
hits the
rips
finisher
one up the line, and you're like, all right, well, that's where he wasn't. So
sometimes you just get beat.
Yeah. And like your problems with that play start with how the 3-on-1 gets created. You miss wide. Makar with a bit of a misplay and a pinch there, and then Burakovsky is slow to get back. And so, it's multiple guys.
Yep. Multiple
guys contributing to how it gets created, and it's you see how hockey is made. Like, it takes little mistakes by multiple guys up the ice, and they make a good play and they capitalize.
Yeah.
And that's it. That was the end of like them doing a meaningful thing, because their goal to make it 4-2 didn't really change much for me. So I don't really care about it that much.
Yep.
I care about that as much as I care about the empty net goal, which is to say I don't. Especially the way that they get where Devon Taves defends two guys down low successfully, blocks the initial attempt, and just has it land right back.
Stick,
and then Robbie Fabry fucking heals that thing.
Yep.
He boofs that, and it still has to go in off of Francouz's foot to get into the net.
Yep.
Like they caught every imaginable break to create that goal, and it only just got in. And so I don't care about that second goal. That second goal is the hockey gods being the Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes just pissing on an Avs logo. That's all that was.
Well,
and at 4-2, I just didn't. In 4-2 with like 10 to play in the third, knowing how it finished up, I don't care.
I think our watch along summed it up pretty well when Kadri put in the goal to make it 3-1. And our vibe wasn't, oh, okay, the Avs are up 3-1. They should win this game now. Our vibe was, hey, Blais hit another bet.
Yeah, Blais make
money. So there was a lot of confidence tonight. We'll put it that way.
Well, at 4-1, I was like, should I start writing? And then it was like, well, if I wasn't doing a watch along, I would.
Yep.
And I wasn't going to just leave Rudo halfway through and be like, boy,
I got it. I could handle it.
Yeah, you're a big kid, but I also am not going to be like, hey, I'll do watch alongs up until
it's time.
I am tired to go and would like to go do something else now. Goodbye.
Fair enough. That's true. We're
just
going to name Blais's DraftKings account the Yacht Fund.
Yeah.
Like it.
1.1 million.
Really?
No pressure.
Really need Makar to win that Norris. Really need it.
If Makar winning the Norris is the difference between yacht or no yacht, my campaigning is going to get very real with me. There will be cash gifts. It will be bribes. A trail of dirty money. It's going to be like college basketball up in here. I'm doing everything I can behind the scenes to make that work.
But I do think Kadri's goal near the end of the second period is a good note that when the Avs want to, they just start doing the little things again because they get pucks to the net. And look at Kadri. He's won the positional battle. He gets himself directly in front of the crease, and he's the one to pick up the rebound and put it in. It's not free to just walk in front of a team's goalie. They don't give that up very easily unless you're the Avs sometimes, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. But again, did the Avs play their absolute A game tonight? Probably not. Did they play well enough to win? Yeah.
I'd say they played a B game without Nathan MacKinnon, and that gets it done.
Yep.
And it was a bounce back.
They're good enough. They're good enough to get it done, even against a team that's solid as Detroit.
Yeah.
This is not. I mean, they're not Buffalo, Arizona, Montreal caliber. Detroit just isn't anymore. As much as it pains me to say, they're just a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Look how easy that Kadri goal is. Look what it is. Look how it starts. There's nothing fancy about it. There's nothing cute about it. It's Mikko Rantanen throws a puck, it hits some bodies, and Nazem Kadri they get a good bounce, and he just bops it in. And you're done. And it's 3-1, and you're just kind of like, KO.
I mean, goals like that are exactly why you fight to be in the good positions, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time, Kadri's going to be standing that front there and nothing comes of it, but he's there and ready at the right time.
What I also really like is that it's just a couple of game minutes.
Yep.
Because they make it 2-1 at 11:35. So you're halfway through the game at that point. All right, well, they're feeling good. If it's 2-1 going into the third period, they're feeling like, hey, we're in this thing. Instead, 18-19, just under 2 minutes to play, they get that Kadri goal. All right. And then just over 2 minutes into the third period, they get the Nichushkin goal. So they finish the period strong and they come out in the third. And instead of Detroit having some big push or whatever, the Avs just drop it on them. And then it's 4-1. And even the most optimistic of optimists has to be like, this is kind of an uphill climb now.
Okay. I do want to talk about that Nichushkin goal a little bit more. But first, if you actually want to watch the Avs in Denver, Avaca TV has you covered. It's an actual television service that actually will broadcast the Avs for you to an affordable price. You don't have to go over to DirecTV and pay for all that. Obviously, Comcast still has their issues. Avaca will give you Altitude TV and other national channels right to your television for just $25 a month, plus $5 more for their transceiver. It's an over-the-air plus internet, so you do need an internet connection, but it works just like normal television. You get on there, you pick up the remote, you turn on your TV, and you're watching Altitude. It's super easy. You don't have to jump through any of the hoops like unfortunately so many of us in Denver are used to at this point to watch an Avs game. You don't have to do that.
Me tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Avaca TV.
What'd they say?
That Avaca TV rocks.
True.
Like, seriously, that happened.
No argument there. It's genuinely the easiest way to watch the Avs. So jump on it, go get Avaca. Also, if you're a baseball fan, they will carry Altitude Sports, or not Altitude, AT&TV Sports Network as well. So Denver sports, they got you covered on your TV for an affordable price. Avaca is the way to do it. Go get it today. You can go to Avaca. I believe it's avaca.tv. Hang on. I've forgotten their address. Let me look it up. It's not every day that I mess up a read, but sometimes it happens. Sorry, Avaca. All right. Avaca.tv/DNVR. I was right. Should have trusted my gut. That'd have been fine. Unfortunate. Head on over there. Go get yourself Avaca TV. And then you can hit up DraftKings Sportsbook. Follow Blais's bets and make yourself a good bit of money. As only hit 2 of the 4 because the power play didn't come through tonight. But hit the big pluses. You hit the plus 115 on the Avs and then the plus 175 on Kadri's. Got you in the black. So, boom. Go get some money. DraftKings, of course, they have ridiculous offers almost constantly. It's actually incredible how much money they're giving. You bet on a new account, use code DNVR, bet $1 on any NBA team to win their next game. You get $150 in free bets. $150 to just mess around with, no risk. Have a little bit of fun. You might as well, right? You can check out same game parlays. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff. You can bet on cornhole. You can bet on the National Chess Championship. You can bet on probably sports that I've never even heard of. So go do whatever you want with DraftKings. It's dope. Highly recommend you have a little bit of fun. It always makes stuff better, especially like I'm pretty sure AJ is the same way, but when I have trouble sleeping and it's like 4 a.m. and it's like, let's go see what random sport is on at 4 a.m, and I'll just throw a couple bucks on it just for fun since I can't fall asleep anyway.
Yep.
A good way to pass a little bit of time for sure. So download that sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get that $1 for $150 free bet on the NBA. DraftKings, an official sport betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's get to our king of the game before we get to that fourth goal, because I think the fourth goal would qualify as the play of the game, but we're giving the king of the game to the man rocket, Gabe Landeskog himself. He picks up 2 goals, has 5 shots on goal, led the way getting the first goal for the Avs, finished it up getting the empty netter for the Avs. As AJ mentioned, on a night without Nathan MacKinnon, I think the takeaway we had for the top line at very least is you see MacKinnon go out of the lineup and it's Gabe Landeskog the one stepping up in his stead.
Yeah. Gabe Landeskog tonight, just to get into what kind of night the top line had. 25-12 in Corsi, 11-6 in shots on goal, 15-6 in scoring chances, and 4-4 in high danger chances. 15-6 in scoring chances.
That's pretty good.
15-6.
Ridiculous.
That is some creation.
Yeah.
Doing a good job there.
Yep. I mean, it's just good quality hockey from that top line too.
Well, it started literally the first shift of the game. It goes to show you that sometimes the third guy truly doesn't matter because Darren Helm picks up the assist.
They still just dominated that possession.
They put him out there for a ceremonial first shift.
He gets through 2 whistles. They keep him out there, and he picks up an assist off of it. Like, one, good for him, and he legitimately helped. Like, it wasn't like a bullshit assist. It was a good assist.
Yeah.
But 2, it just goes to show you that sometimes when those guys are vibing,
okay,
even without Nathan MacKinnon.
Yeah, turns out they got a lot of good hockey players on this team.
I mean, Nathan MacKinnon, breaks 50 points tonight? Or Nathan MacKinnon, Gabe Landeskog breaks 50 points tonight.
Yep.
With goals 24 and 25 on the season. He has 51 points in 43 games.
Wow.
That's good, fam.
So unreal.
That's the third banana on your top line.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the best play of the game. I want to hear Blais's answer to this before I hear AJ's. On the Val goal, who made the better play? Is it Andrei Burakovsky or is it Val Nichushkin?
It's Val. Like, he picked that up with his skates and then made a nice move to deke out the goalie to get him to freeze so that he could put it in on his backhand. You've got to give it to him. That's a lot of skill right there from a guy that we generally make fun of, like him scoring goals off of weird parts of his body. That was a very nice goal.
And does he do his feet get an assist on that goal? Is that how we're gonna mark it down on the sheet?
It should be. It should really be Nichushkin's feet, Burakovsky.
Take the point away from NUKE.
Yeah, no more NUKE multi-point night.
Okay, and I don't really have a strong argument against Blais here. It's a ridiculously good reception from NUKE and a great finish, but AJ talked about it on our watch along. Anyone doubting Burakovsky, go rewatch that goal and watch the work he puts in the play he makes to even create an opportunity.
Well, he starts that breakout in the O-zone, by the way. He starts that breakout by deking a dude and then getting it up to NUKE. And then when NUKE rims the puck, Burakovsky makes a beeline, cuts in between 4 Red Wings, wins that puck, and just throws it over to NUKE, and the rest is all NUKE. It's a great play.
Like that's not a high quality pass from Burakovsky. But when you consider the fact that he just won that puck battle in a sea of red, that dude wins the puck and just throws it to Nuke and says, "Do something with it," and he does. And that's the play where Nichushkin was not doing shit like that when he got to Colorado. Certainly wasn't doing it when Dallas paid him to go away. And that's the thing that he's added to his game, where you're like, it's that skill element to go along with all the hard work and all that other stuff. He's starting to show that kind of finishing ability. It's a great play by Nichushkin. But if you're trying to figure out, if you're sitting around and you're tweeting angrily about Andrei Burakovsky not scoring and not being useful, and when's the last time he even made a nice play or whatever, well, there you go.
You know the other funny part of that goal is this is going to be a little bit long-winded. Well, not too long-winded, but as I was growing up, like my coaches would always say, 95% of goals are scored on the ice. And I'm like, oh, okay, coach, whatever, because everything that you see, it's like all the highlight, right? Bar down, like just these sick plays. You watch tonight's game, it starts making a lot of sense. And then as I got older and obviously started coaching, I started saying that to players. Players just look at you funny, but you realize, like, the highlights are showing a lot, but those goals, getting to that dirty zone, either making a play like that or getting a rebound, is how a lot of goals are scored are on the ice.
Yeah, so. 100% agreed. It's great to go bar down. It looks dope, but it's a lot more likely to score a goal when you're shooting it where the goalie isn't, instead of trying to snipe one through a millimeter hole past his ear.
Yeah.
Just how it works. You don't necessarily have to lift it all the time. Avs did a
also,
great
when
job
Thomas
of
Greiss
keeping it
leads
simple.
the net and you make a really nice play. Like, I'm not sure what he's reading there. Like Nichushkin, like we give him great, like he does a great job here, but he's just like,
yeah, Nichushkin does
just
drag it back to the backhand nicely, but Greiss was full send on that forehand, and Nichushkin didn't get that much of a lean that direction. I don't know, but you know what?
I will
say, opportunity that close to a goalie.
Like watching it though, like Nichushkin pulls it to his forehand.
He does,
and Greiss immediately commits to it. So when he reads that and he goes to the backhand and goes around him, it was like, yes.
Especially when there's traffic on the other side of the net too, right? Like it's not
sort of, yeah. They're coming back, so they're not like established, but they're getting there.
Yeah,
it was not open ice though. No.
That hit by Seider on Berkey really wasn't that big in the third, just so we're clear.
He was off balance when he got hit.
It's a common thread that I see where people will see a hit of a guy that's off balance and they think he got crushed, and it was really like, he just kind of fell over.
Well, and like if you've ever been hit like that, it's nowhere near the same.
Yeah,
those are fine.
Your momentum's already going that way, and so you're just kind of like, okay, well, I got there faster, and it looks cool, but it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yep.
Whereas, like, if you get stood up by a dude, that feels like you've been hit by a train.
Yep.
Yes.
So
very, very different.
We got a couple super chats to get to here. I believe in you, producer Yahir.
Is something happening right now?
Did he abandon us? All right, it's fine. I can do it. $5 from Blake. Been dealing with a concussion, and the watch along was awesome, so I could just listen and not be on a screen. Thank you, guys.
Bo?
Does that And then $5 from Pin King. AJ needs to show DNVR videos on his TV in the background. LOL.
That'd be pretty fun. I think I'll start doing that. Having other pods running on YouTube in the background.
There you go.
I'm good with that.
A little bit of
or
Inception.
just have this one on mute in the background.
Yeah, the Inception.
Just like
style.
10 seconds delayed. Oh god.
The ultimate arrogance. To have my own pod on. Oh, it'd be so good.
Okay. So I really don't think this was this complicated of a game, but
Nope.
any final thoughts you guys want to add?
I will say really liked Jost with the new hook.
Agreed.
And I think that would be a thing that I would be curious to see them maybe explore a little bit. LOC's got to get the cobwebs.
Yeah, it's been a
knocked
struggle for a
out.
bit too long now for him.
Yeah, because too much of a hard fourth line energy coming from both NAC and LOC at the same time.
Yeah,
where they're very redundant guys with their skill sets. The fact that they're both right wings, if one of them's not going to play at a 30-point pace, they're both going to play at an 18-point pace.
There's not room for two of that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's to one of those guys has a 3-year deal.
I didn't notice Knack tonight. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Most nights I don't notice him as games go on. I notice him a lot more early in games when he's got a little bit of jump, feeling good, et cetera, right? But tonight I didn't really notice him at all. And it was more like depth. I had more issues with Colorado's defenders than I did forwards. I thought Jack Johnson was really bad again.
Yeah.
I thought EJ was kind of that typical sort of. There were
EJ
some
was
good,
like
there were some bad.
yeah.
Like there were things that you could, if you really wanted to go to bat for him, you could. If you really wanted to dunk on him, you could. And I thought it was just kind of more of the same. A lot of what we've seen from him this year, where there's a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, but I don't feel strongly. I thought both Taves and Makar had moments, especially Taves. I really didn't like his puck management.
Yep.
I didn't have a super strong problem with Ryan Murray, but again, putting up bad numbers is concerning.
He had one play that I think was like, you want better than that I remember, where he just straight up turns over a puck in the offensive zone. But
Gerard defensively, I didn't like tonight. I didn't like him defensively. Offensively, I just don't think he did enough. That the second power play unit it
was a ghost, non-existent.
It's just Gerard and Taves throwing pucks back and forth to each other. Like,
yep.
Are you going to try something or are you? And they tried. Both of them were like, "Now you do it," and then nothing gets done.
You do nothing till there's 10 seconds left, and then you throw a shot from nowhere, and it's
right,
like, whatever.
Especially when there was lanes to the net for both of them too,
yep.
where they deferred on both of those times that I saw.
Well, and certainly with their really limited ice time on the power play, their problems are not as magnified as the top power play unit looking horrible. So. But some of that is also like, look, and I'm not going to put all of it on JT Compher, but he takes that spot on the top unit. The top unit is now, I say is now. It hasn't been good for a month. Like,
but MacKinnon to JT Compher is a big step down.
It is, and they treated it that way.
Yeah,
they treated that top unit because they didn't shade over to try and worry about JT Compher's existence.
Yep,
at all.
Pretty much. Just for notes, excluding Curtis McDermott, Knack was the lowest TOI at just 824. So
824. And I think what really, really, really hurts Abe Kubel is that he doesn't do anything on either special teams unit.
Yep.
He's never been a PK guy ever in his career. He's not a PKer and he's not a power play guy.
The only forward, I guess, depending on how you feel about McDermott, to not play any special times team.
I mean, McDermott at 5 minutes, right? If you're going to play 5 minutes, you can't take a penalty, but at least his shot metrics are good.
Yeah, we don't need to have this conversation again. McDermott's a known quantity at this point.
Yeah,
it is exactly what it is.
It was another normal night for Curtis McDermott where you're just like, please don't screw anything over, and then he does something dumb, and this something dumb was a penalty.
Yep.
And then you're just like, all right, well, we'll see. But 13-2-1 without Nathan MacKinnon.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Last note, solid night for Pavel Francouz. Stops 32 of 34, makes all the ones that the Avs need him to.
Yeah, a couple of ones were down the stretch. You're like, oh, big save.
Yep.
Where you're like, hey, if that puck goes in, you have a problem. But I don't think he was great.
No,
good night.
He didn't have to make any ridiculous saves, but he made the good ones.
Yeah, good night for him.
Okay.
He just continues to do his thing, man. He just keeps rolling along where you're like, this guy is rock solid as a backup.
Yep.
he's gonna have a night like he had against Dallas, where it's just not very good. You know, where you're just like,
happens to every backup in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, his overall body of work just continues to be. You're just like, you gonna say,
play him that easy. Okay. We're going to get out of here for the night. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. We appreciate all of y'all so much, whether it was the postgame, the pregame, or the watch-along hanging with us. We hope you enjoyed. We will be back tomorrow with the Prospect Podcast, as mentioned. And from there, Friday, we got a busy day. We're making a lot of cool stuff, trade deadline related. Be sure to keep your eyes out for that in the next week or two. Should be fun. Yeah, we'll talk to you on the next up.
If we have anybody, if we have any on the off chance we have anybody in Ukraine tonight, be safe, friends.
Yeah. Hopefully you can all stay safe. Obviously, situation going over there is not great. Anyway, we love you. We'll catch you on the next one.